Jamal and Kim's Inner Circle Health Tribe, episode 46.
It's time to reverse the imbalances in your life as you take the first step on your own journey towards personal change. Welcome to Jamal and Kim's Inner Circle Health Tribe, educating, empowering, and inspiring individuals to live healthier. Now here are your hosts and your guides to natural living, Jamal and Kim.
Hi, Kim and Jamal here, and welcome to another episode of Jamal and Kim's Inner Circle Health Tribe podcast. This is episode number 46, and I am Kim, and I'm joined with Jamal.
Greetings, everyone.
And
peace and blessings.
Yes. And like I said, this is episode number 46. And the title of this episode is Holistic Health Beyond Nutrition. And as I mentioned, this is episode number 46. And over the past couple of weeks, we have shared some great information. Hopefully you agree, some great information to help inspire, educate, and empower you to live healthier. But one of the things that we have seen over our 10 years of being in the industry is that when most people want to live a healthier lifestyle, want to improve their health, they first start with their nutrition, the things that they consume. And that is definitely a great place to start. But as you continue on your journey, you'll learn that there's layers to this. You know, you start with your food and then you get to another layer that you're peeling back and being exposed to. And we want to dive into that next layer of your health journey of going past nutrition and looking at another area of health. And that is, what are you putting on your body? You know, your skin is an eliminative organ. It protects us and it has thousands and thousands of pores. So things that you put on your body on a continuous basis, day in and day out, you need to start paying attention to it because that could also have a detrimental effect on your health as well.
Yeah, it goes back to the education process in our country. We always talk about how poor the health education is, and it doesn't stop with nutrition. It extends out to what we're using. Us being more responsible in what we're using for our bodies, because we're really not taught that these things can have an impact on our overall health. But as we go on this holistic journey, we have to look at the whole. We just can't look at what goes into our mouth. We have to look at what goes on our body. And this is going to be a challenging show for a lot of people because it's going to push you to look a little bit deeper at, you know, what you're using on your body. And as you begin to make shifts within your life, this is something that just can't go unlooked. It really can't. And a lot of times you begin to look at a lot of the things that you're using and you realize they're really not healthy or they're really not as natural as you thought that they were.
Right.
And that causes you to have to make a shift because there are some unnatural things out there that are good. They work well. When we're talking about chemicals and we're talking about, you know, things like pharmaceutical drugs, it's not that they don't work. A lot of times they do work. It's just that the side effects that come along with them working is really, in the long run, long-term wise, is really not worth us using them. So this show is it's gonna push you a bit. It's gonna push you to look past certain things that you know, you've been limited to. And
also, you know, it exposes like emotional attachments we have to products.
Yeah.
Because certain products we grew up with, our parents used them and it kind of got passed down to us, lotions and toothpaste and all kind of things that you've been using all your life. And for someone to, you know, for it to be exposed that, you know, I'm using something toxic, you know, it takes a certain mind shift to kind of move through that and to try new things.
Yeah, so it kind of brings us to a topic, the skin. Like Kim said, your skin is an organ of elimination. It's actually your largest organ of elimination. So with that being said, you know, it's a very important part of your body. So let's talk about some properties and benefits of your skin. First of all, it's a layer of protection. You know, protects vital organs and systems of your body. So, you know, it's it's a serious line of defense. So we need our skin for protection.
It holds us together.
That's
important.
Yeah. And it helps to regulate our temperature. Our skin does. And it does this through insulation as well as sweat. You know, we release sweat to control our temperature. We also, during the sweating process, we release toxins from our bodies. It's a way that our bodies can detoxify. We spoke about, sweating during our detoxification series and how your body can eliminate. It's also a line of defense from different viruses and bacteria and things of that nature. It keeps them from getting inside. And we have bacteria that is on our skin that protects us, that fights these things. So that is very important. It seals in moisture, and it helps us to, keep that delicate balance of moisture inside of the body. It also helps to produce vitamin D. You know, our body manufactures vitamin D from the sun. So it gets the sun stimulates the skin. It absorbs the vitamin D, and it helps us. And it's also sensory. It sends signals back and forth from the nervous system, and it allows us to be aware of what's going on. And that's just some of the many benefits of the skin. And like Kim said earlier, it's porous. So the way that we can excrete things, we can also absorb things.
Right.
And honestly, the skin really is better at absorbing things than internally, because at least when you absorb something internally, your body can compartmentalize certain things. We have certain enzymes and acids and things that can protect you and break things down and push things out of the system. A lot of times when there's foreign things that enter into our system internally, we have certain mechanisms to fight those things. Your body responds in certain ways to push these things out of the body so there's less damage. But when we're putting them on our skin and things are being absorbed right into our skin, we don't have the same level of protection.
Right.
We can't break these things down and eliminate these things the same way. So what happens is we get this accumulation of toxicity. And if you've been listening to our shows, we talk about toxicity and how overall toxicity begins to throw your health out of balance, and it begins to lead towards sickness, disease, and you not feeling your best. So we're going to dive into a lot of just the common things that we use and why we could be further polluting ourselves.
Yeah, definitely.
Kim, what was your journey when it came to just that transition from using the traditional body and bath products that we typically use? What was your journey to transitioning to things that are more natural?
I think it was like an evolution. So like I mentioned, my health journey, of course, started with my diet, because when you start to shift the things that you consume on a consistent basis, it's almost, you can feel the results. It's something tangible that you experience. But for me, as I continue to start feeling better and learning about my body and my health and how I could, I was inspired to learn what else can I do to keep up this high? What else can I do to stop being a hindrance to my health and to help improve it? So just through reading and research and, hearing lectures and just learning, you start to learn about, as Jamal mentioned, our skin and how the things that we put on our skin on a consistent basis, these things contribute to our health as well. So, you just start learning about how to read labels and what things to look after, understanding that sweating is not a bad thing. Our bodies are meant to sweat, and just kind of having that mind shift of appreciating that our bodies are always working to help us, and we need to get out of its way. So just learning how to read labels more, looking online. Like today, you have all these various outlets that you can buy natural products and more readily available. But, back, 13 years ago or whatever, it wasn't so easy to find these things, and I had to look online and you had to go to certain vendors and things like that. But I was just so motivated that did not deter me.
Yeah, and it's really when you start to get into natural products and things that we use on a regular basis, it's really an extension. How you go about it is really an extension of how you go about eating. One of the things that we try to get our clients at our Holistic Center and our listeners is to become more label conscious. Mm-hmm. It's very important that you read your labels so that you understand what you're putting in your body and the harmful effects. So a lot of times we tell people, if you can't understand half of the things on the ingredients list, you don't even know what they are. Why are you consuming them? Because you don't know the damage that it can have to your body. And it kind of goes the same way with the products that you're using. There's so many different chemicals that they use in a lot of these products that we put on our skin because we don't read the ingredients list. We look at the label. We may look at the front label and it'll tell you, mango shea butter or, aloe lotion or whatever the case may be. And we look at that, we see the aloe, we see the mango, and we automatically think that it's natural. Right.
It goes back to the marketing because you get so swayed by the images and the commercials, and it just makes you move with emotion instead of being more objective.
Right. Mm-hmm. And they did a study back in a 6-month study back in 2004 on personal care products, and it says more than 10,000 body care product ingredients were evaluated involving 2,300 participants. One of the findings was the average adult uses 9 personal care products each day containing 126 different chemicals. Wow. The study also found that more than 250,000 women and 1 out of every 100 men use an average of 15 products daily. Mm. Now think about like how much chemicals. It was saying containing 126 different chemicals. These are things made in the laboratory, and the question is what's the safety? When we begin to look at the different chemicals, how safe are they? You have to begin to ask that question, because what you'll find is that there are chemicals that are safe in small dosages.
Right.
But when you start to have large amounts of these different chemicals, they actually become toxic. Mm-hmm. They become very poisonous. So a lot of these small chemicals that they generally regard as safe, they'll feed them to animals in large proportions just to see the effects. And it's not right to, test animals in this way, but this is what they do. And many times it kills the animal or causes the animal some type of sickness or disease when they expose the chemicals in these massive amounts. So they say in small portions that it's not that they're safe and it's not going to have a negative impact on you. But let's just go back to what the study was saying. It was saying that, a lot of people, most people use between 9 and 15 different products on a daily basis. Mm. And when you begin to look at a lot of the different products on the market, you're going to begin to see the same chemicals. Right. You're going to see the same chemicals in your deodorant. You're going to see the same chemicals in your lotion, the same chemicals in, your hair moisturizer, in your soap, in your shampoos. So you start to see these same chemicals. So what started out as a small amount very quickly begins to turn into a large amount that is actually toxic.
It's like a great analogy, or I'm a visual person, so a great way to really picture the severity of what you just mentioned is, You know, if you tell someone to drop a speckle of rat poisoning on your hand and just eat it every day, like just a little bit each and every day, not enough that if you ate it, that it would hurt you that minute. But if you continuously each and every day put a drop of rat poisoning and you lick your hand, that's kind of like a visualization of what you do with your products. Like if you continue to use toxic products each and every day, like over your lifetime, it may not affect you right this present moment, but over the years, 10, 20, 30 years, just think about the possible effects that can occur within your body.
Yeah, we don't realize how our body stores these toxins when we absorb them, and we don't understand the long-term effects. In the same study that I was reading, it was talking about cosmetics, and it was just talking about makeup. It wasn't even talking about the other chemicals that we use, but it was just talking about the chemicals absorbed from makeup. And what it was saying is that in 1 year, you could absorb 5 pounds worth of chemicals through the skin just from cosmetics alone.
Wow.
That's serious. So if you can absorb that just from cosmetics alone, what about, what you're washing your hands with and what you're putting under your arms and what you're putting on your scalp every day?
On like how you wash your clothes.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So these small things that we do that start out as harmless begin to turn very toxic, and we're not really looking at it from that perspective. I don't think the industry is really looking at it from that perspective, because when people create a product, they're making sure that they're falling within certain regulations so things could be safe for their consumers and customers, but they're not looking at the accumulated damage that this could possibly have. Mm-hmm. The Environmental Working Group estimates that 1 out of 5 cosmetic products might be contaminated with cancer-causing agents. So this is a serious thing, because we know that cancer is on the rise, all different types of cancers. And we have this way of addressing cancer and other diseases and sicknesses in our society, and that is we treat the disease itself, but we never treat the conditions that could have caused the disease in the first place. Mm-hmm. We never treat the environment. So if a person has breast cancer, they may remove the lump, they may even remove the breast, but they never look at the conditions that may have caused it in the first place. They never, take a woman off of antiperspirant deodorant. Mm-hmm. We don't look at these things. So it's important for you to begin to look at this process and the type of effect that it could have on your body long term.
Yeah, and I think it just goes to, taking responsibility for your health and doing your due diligence, listening to shows like our show, and just really educating yourself. The first thing I want to say is, someone may be listening to this and getting completely overwhelmed. And we're going to give you some tips and pointers so you can just start the process of looking at the products that you currently use, and maybe starting to shift and change to use things that are more friendly and more safer and healthier for you to use. But just understand that it's a process, just like with the foods that you consume, slowly taking certain things out of your diet and finding things to replace it. The same thing starts with these products. Jamal and I have been in the industry for over 13 years. It started with our own journey, but it didn't happen overnight. So just always remember that it's one step at a time. But the first step is an awareness and consciousness, and taking a responsibility to start to implement these things that you learn into your life.
Yeah, that's a good point. The word, it's unfortunate. Some people are hardcore. Some people are going to say, you know what, I'm done with all of it. And they're going to let everything go at one time. And they're just going to try to do everything right from the beginning. But that's not what the average person is going to do. The average person is going to feel very confused, because it can be confusing when you start looking at product after product that you have, and it has all of this crazy stuff in it.
Yeah.
Because it's like a whole other world out there when you really start to dig deep, from, you know, what you use to wash your clothes, to wash your hands, to wash your hair, to wash your body, to wash your dishes. You know what I mean? You just
to clean your home.
Yeah, to clean your home. You just start seeing all of these toxic chemicals that you put on your body. You know, a lot of times when we clean certain things, we put gloves on to protect ourselves from those chemicals. But then you look in like your shampoo, or you look in your body wash, and you start to see those same chemicals in there. And you put gloves on to wash the floor, but then you take those same things just because it has a fragrance and they call it something else, and you put it on your body.
Right.
But we don't look at labels, so we don't realize that we're doing this, which is why this show is important, to begin to bring these things to your attention. So as we transition into things that you can begin to do right now to make that shift, just understand that it's not something that's going to happen overnight. It can be overwhelming, but just take baby steps. And I would recommend to maybe change things, you know, one bottle or one, topic at a time. Maybe start with your hand soap. Like, that's really easy. You know, when you run out of hand soap, you buy something a little bit more natural. Then when you run out of toothpaste, you replace that, as opposed to just kind of throwing everything out at one time. Just take your time. And that's a journey. One of the things that Kim and I found when we started to make this journey and start to make the switch is that, unfortunately, a lot of the natural things didn't work as good as the chemical stuff out there.
Yes.
So it took time for us to find the things that we liked and how they work. And also, body chemistry is an important part too. As you get healthy and you change your body chemistry, the natural things begin to work better.
Right.
So that's an important piece too. So you just have to be patient. Just be patient and just stay steady and focused, and just begin to slowly make changes, little small changes. And over time, you look back over the course of the years and you've made a lot of major changes overall.
Right. It's definitely one step at a time. And also just remember, you know, what we mentioned in previous episodes about the importance of detoxification. That will help to counterbalance maybe things that you have done in the past and that you're currently doing, until you could eventually, I mean, you always need to detox, but as you continue to detox and change your products, your detoxes will be less and less severe or intense, because your internal environment is more balanced.
Right. Absolutely. So let's jump into some things that people can begin to do so that they can make this transition and really understand what it is that they're doing, and how to get off of these unnatural products.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the first thing to understand is that the front label of any product, it doesn't matter if it's natural, it doesn't matter if it's an unnatural product. The front label is really just a reference point, and it's marketing. That's what you just need to know. It's marketing. So you can't really believe what you see. The only thing that the label lets you know is, okay, this is worth my time to look a little bit deeper.
Correct.
Yeah, that's the only thing. You look at something, it says organic and all natural. It's like, okay, this has my attention. Let me pick it up. Let me look at the ingredients. Let me look at the value of this to see if it's worthy or not. You cannot make a decision on anything, on any product, based on what you see on the front label. Because, just being in business, the front label is your opportunity to wow a person and to get a person to make an impulse decision.
Right.
That's what it's designed for. That's what most people do. They see something, you want to go all natural. You heard Jamal and Kim say you need to have more natural products. You look at the shelf, you see a product right on the front label. It says all natural aloe lotion. And then
it's a picture of the trees and the naturalness.
Right. And they show the aloe and it's green and it smells good. And you're like, okay, this is what they're talking about. And then you grab it. Mm-hmm. And then you, later on, you're using it and you're saying, I have this natural lotion. And you begin to look at the ingredients and you see that it's all chemicals, a laundry list of chemicals. And then you realize that it's not natural. So the first thing is you always want to look at the ingredients of the products that you're using, and less is best. Just like with your food, you don't want to pick up a package and it has a laundry list, a very long list of chemicals for you to eat. Same thing. You don't want a whole long list of chemicals for your food. Mm-hmm. So less is best. You want to go for less ingredients. And there are some very specific chemicals that you want to begin to look for. There are a lot of chemicals out there. We're not going to get through all of them, but we want to talk about some major ones. And one is sodium lauryl sulfate, which they use as a cleansing agent to cleanse things and to break up grease and debris and things of that nature. That has been linked to a lot of toxicity that it creates in the body, and it can be linked to cancer, or maybe linked to cancer, I would say. So you want to try to stay away from sodium lauryl sulfate. You'll see it show up as sodium laureth sulfate or ammonium lauryl sulfate. There's a lot of different names that it'll show up as that you want to try to avoid. Mm-hmm. Let me just pull up a list here and just give you some other names. Sodium dodecyl sulfate, sulfuric acid, monododecyl ester, sodium salts, sulfuric acid, and monododecyl ester sodium salt sulfuric acid. I know it's a lot of weird sounding names, but when you start seeing sodium, you want to start just paying a little bit more attention to that because it's toxic to the body. Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah.
One chemical or ingredient that you should try to avoid is parabens. And a paraben is spelled Parabens, parabens. And they're chemicals with estrogen-like properties. And estrogen is one of the hormones involved in the development of breast cancer. According to the journal Toxicology Study, new research has been detecting the presence of paraben esters are in 99% of breast cancer tissue samples. So that is a huge finding, and that is a chemical for us ladies, especially, we do not want to be exposing our body to on a daily basis. And the study, they examined 40 women who were being treated for primary breast cancer, and 60% of the cases, 5 of the different esters were present. So parabens are being linked to breast cancer. So ladies, we do not want to be using that, especially in our deodorants and things that we're putting on our body. And parabens can also be labeled as methylparaben, propylparaben, isobutylparaben, ethylparaben, butylparaben, and E216. And I'm going to list these on the show notes pages as well.
Yes, and also titanium dioxide. That's often used to whitening agent to bleach a lot of things, but that has been linked to possibly harm the brain, as well as has some links to cancer as well.
Wow.
Yeah. And so those are the main chemicals that we feel that if you just begin to avoid those, you're making a huge shift, and just start really looking at the labels on everything that you're using. And this is such a broad topic. This is really just the beginning. It's like an intro for you just to begin to understand the importance of it and And we'll probably just take one thing at a time. We might just do a show on shampoos, and maybe we can get someone on here from a natural shampoo company, and we could just dive into, just shampoos, and we can get someone on here for hand soaps, and we could just really begin to open up this topic so people can start making better choices for themselves.
Yeah, definitely. And just to remind everyone, some of this information, I know if you're listening to it, if you're driving, it's hard to jot this stuff down. So we're going to list those 3 chemicals that we touched on in the show notes page. So just go to jkhealthtribe.com/46 and you can access the show notes page for this episode. So we hope this is helpful for you. Implement this information into your life. Look at your products and start to begin the shift of eliminating those things and incorporating more healthier things into your diet, okay? Or not into your diet, into your lifestyle.
Right.
Okay, so until next time.
Your skin diet.
Yeah, your skin diet, right? Okay, so until next time, live healthier.
Stay healthy, everyone. Peace and blessings.
We hope you enjoyed your time with Jamal and Kim's Inner Circle Health Tribe. To keep you on your path towards a happy, healthier lifestyle, we encourage you to visit jkhealthtribe.com for content to help you find your health balance. Thanks again, and we look forward to educating, empowering, and inspiring you to live healthier.